Hey guys, go ahead and get comfortable. Welcome. This is Mas on Sundays analysis. Just give me 1 second here. I'll do this. Whoa. Hey guys, Moss here. Hope you're doing well. Setting up. Go ahead and get comfortable, get situated. Alrighty. Hey guys. Again, we're just waiting for people to log in. Just excuse me here for a second. Whoa, my hair. That's not working out. Alrighty. You know, every time I set this up and then we go live and then something always happens. We got to stop that. So, there we go. All right. Looks like we're good now. There we go. Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Welcome. This is Moss Analyzes. Basically what this is that, we'll shut that off as well. Basically, what I do in a nutshell is I analyze you. Now, with my abilities that we all have, and that's what I teach here at Xponential Intelligence, is that I can read you, I can scan you, analyze you. So it's very different than hypnosis, hypnosis, obviously NLP, psychology. It's very different than psychic abilities, psychic powers, intuition, and all that. It goes beyond time and space, and that's why it's different. And because of that, I literally can read your, say, IP address. So say you have a text message or you have a phone number, right? That you have an IP address that that connects it to wherever your phone is, whatever. Your phone has literally an address, and that's how it knows to connect to you when somebody dials in your number, for example. Well, you have a personal frequency signature that has your IP address. I can log into that IP address. So that's the logistics on how I can connect you. Therefore, you know, you can use a fake name. You can use, I don't need to know your picture. I don't need to see anything about you. What you type in, okay, and that's a crazy thing because it's got nothing to do with you, right? It's really disconnected from you. But what you type in, I can tap into you. Simple as that. It's pretty wild technology, very advanced, obviously, and this is the same way that, you know, say for example, you have a phone number and it says, "Hey, call, you know, help us," right? The underlying, say, you know, and you dial in help us, well, the underlying number is still your number. Does that make sense to you? So the same thing here. It doesn't matter what you put on the surface here, I can still read you. And just to prove it to you, I'll start reading you, but and not for my benefit, because I know I'm accurate, but for your benefit and for those who are new, if I do scan you or analyze you, comment back in. again, not for me, but it's for other people. And then it's beneficial for those people who read people to verify that there is something going on, that there's this higher knowledge that's editing or controlling this reality. So it allows us to say believe, okay, into say something deeper that's happening, because it is. And that's why a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. Later on at 10:45, I'll be talking about self-realization, how most people do it wrong, and then how to do it properly for you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. We don't want to waste any more time. I might just put my glasses on. This one is Jana Hart. I'm definitely becoming more present. Sometimes I just want to stay there and not be detracted by work, thinking. Sometimes it's hard to get back on striving after arriving when I find that peace. Really fantastic place to be. Many individuals do that. Again, the reality. So what we're doing for you specifically is allowing. So you've elevated yourself to a new level, and it's a new level. So right now you're getting comfortable with your new level. So it's not really about, say, doing things or working or getting stuff done. It's about, say, reclaiming who you are, taking inventory of the new place, understanding possibilities, understanding your new abilities, your new powers that'll be coming in. So that's what's happening for you, which is really fantastic for you. So in this quick little session, just downloading you with a manual, literally, on how to use some of the functions that you've, say, just stepped into. Okay, so it's all about you claiming yourself, understanding, learning, and then you go out into the world. Okay, so really nice job. Congratulations there. I'm just going to put my lenses on. Makes me look smarter anyway. Search engine marketing expert. We definitely need that. Hi, Moss. So for you, and that's all it says, search engine marketing expert, and hi, Moss. So for you, my friend, you're always looking, you're always trying to, say, solve, or you're always trying to define who you are. No matter what it is, you're always like it's like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? So you always tend to test people, right? You always tend to test people or push people, and that's fine, because it allows them to say push on them as well. But the reason why you're doing that is because you always feel, say, unsafe. So say that you're walking on ice, you're walking on ice, and it's like, is that next step going to be safe, or am I going to go down? So again, the world never feels safe. It's hard to trust people, and then you'll always be, say, independent, so to speak, but on your own. So for you, allowing, say, a higher version of yourself to understand, to go, to tell you, hey, that next step, it's safe to go on to that next step. So that's what I was helping you with. So you'll feel more freer without, again, having to test. Many people go forward that way, by the way. They're always testing something. So if you're always testing something, you can never, say, go live, right? Because you're always testing something. This one says, hi, I'm from Bangkok. Can you read me? Sure. Just give me a second here. So whoever you were, it just keeps scrolling up. So, oh, actually I can put it on. Yeah. So, for you, anyway, for you in Bangkok, well, one, I see you have throat issues, lung issues, probably maybe from the pollution there, or you're sensitive. You're sensitive to a lot of things, whether it's foods, obviously environmental issues, things like that. That kind of mess up your chemistry. Again, I'm not a doctor in any way or anything, but that's just what I'm seeing in you. Also, you're always, you always try to, say, push the limits to things. Which means that, how far can I go in a relationship, in even physical situations? you know, you feel like you'd be like extreme, but the only reason you're doing that is because you're very insecure. You're very scared. Although on the outside you might look like, you know, it's like, whoa, he's really out there. He's not afraid of death. But the reason why you keep doing that is because you get pulled into death all the time. And so what that means is, like, if you live from a space of death, okay, or space of fear, what you would do is compensate for that. So you're a compensator. So you're pushing. And then what happens is that the reason why you're always pushing is like, how far can I push the envelope to death or whatever it might be? Like, for example, you know, there's a car passing by and it's really close and you're going to go, fuck, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to cross the street, right? That kind of stuff. You'll never kill yourself, but you get to that point. But the reason why you do that stuff, again, is that you're always testing. You're always testing on, am I dead or am I living? Part of the living. So when you do something like that, it pulls you into, say, present moment so strongly, right? When you're having, say, a close call, for example, what do? You feel complete in your body, and that's like euphoric. But with that pattern, even that close to death, you'd have to get closer and closer and closer over time. And that's what's happening for you, by the way. So for you, allowing you to stay in time without having to do that. Right? This one, let's see if it shows up. Here it goes. There we go. Hi, Mas, can you please read me and tell me what I need to focus on now to be my best possible self? Thank you so much. For you're so welcome. Whatever the rest says. So what you've done is really fantastic, hon, is like, you've really cleaned up your inventory. You've gotten rid of a lot of shit. You've pushed away the past, and you know, something like this, what you've gone through. And I'm not going to pronounce your name just so I don't butcher it. Sounds beautiful though, by the way. But what you've gone through, people would go through, say, a decade or two of work, and you wouldn't even get, say, a quarter of where you've gotten in, gosh, from what I'm seeing, not too long being with XI. So really fantastic job. So you've taken inventory, you've cleaned out house, and now basically what you're going through. It's like, okay, Mas, can you help me decorate? Right? What paint color should I use? What furniture should I use? You know, what's my style? So for you, hon, and for many others who are in that space, fantastic, congratulations. What you want to do is that you want to start analyzing people. You want to start, reading autobiographies or biographies, or studying people, or studying events, situations, and starting to see what you like and you don't like about things. Right? And say you admire somebody, but you don't want to pull their whole self in. Say, like, entertainers. You know, a lot of people go, I wish I was that entertainer. You really don't. They have, a horrendous, atrocious life. Look at all the shit that's coming forward. But you wanna pull that one, say, thread of frequencies that you admire about them. You know, maybe they have a great voice, or maybe, they connect with people really well on stage, whatever it is. So start, and it doesn't have to be, somebody famous. It could be somebody, the coffee person or your best friend, whatever. Start to notice those little threads of frequencies, again, that make up your complete frequency signature, and pull that into you. And once you do that, you start understanding who you are, and you start creating yourself at a stronger level. So really nice job, by the way. We'll move on to Instagram here. Alexandra John, can you please help my daughter? Aliens keep waiting for her in her sleep. Yeah, so it's not really, I actually see that even before I read that message. And for those people who don't believe in aliens, or it's like, this lady's crazy, no, there are higher frequencies that are out there. We just don't tend to see them because our visual perception, or even our feelings are very limited. The light, say, frequencies, right? The light frequencies that are out there, it's massive, but we only see a sliver of color. And that's what we identify as real when we see things. So X-rays, gamma rays, and all those rays that are visible but not to us, right? Or just like dogs, right? They hear a lot higher sounds than what we hear. It doesn't mean that it's not there. We just don't have the capacity to feel it. Some people have a bigger, larger capacity to sense things around them. So again, great capacity, but if you don't know how to own it, and that's what's happening. So for you, your daughter, and I think it was you back in the day, you used to sense things or read things or feel things. Something happened to you at 12 or 13, and I might be reading your daughter in you, because you and your daughter and some other people are kind of like there's a mishmash in you. So it's like multiple identities. Again, it's not that you're going crazy. It's just that one program, one, say, vehicle, your body is operating by 2-3 different programs. So let's help you. Let's help your daughter, and in your family. If you want to call it, say, taking over or possession, I don't know. It's your labeling. It doesn't matter to me how you describe it. So don't attach meanings to labels or words. It's highly important because again, that's where people get fucked up. They just get totally messed up because again, there's like, oh, Mas said you're possessed. It's like, if that's the only way you define possession, then I'm not saying that you're possessed. It's just a layman's term on what I see, the underlying mechanics, and I don't have time to spend and explain the underlying mechanics. So for you, again, your daughter's like just wide open. So she can't define herself well in space, right? Again, these are the simple mechanics. So as she sleeps, well, she loses total control of, say, her identity or her body. Basically, her body dissolves whenever she sleeps. That's why she doesn't sleep well. You tend to go in the past, you're all over the place, right? Say that there's an emergency. You know how you just go from one thing to another trying to solve or trying to find a tool that'll solve the emergency. You've been like that all around her all the time. So you create or you move in to, say, rooms. You'll go, for example, if there's an emergency, you'll go to the bedroom. You're finding a tool. You'll go to the bathroom to find something. You'll go to wherever, or all around the house, all over the place. So you've created all these, say, extra rooms of possibilities. Your daughter sees that and looks at you and it's like, shit, why is mom all over the place? Okay. And she's like, she's running all over the place where actually the tool that you were looking for was inside you. So your daughter, unfortunately, has picked that up. And then she basically goes, well, if mom's living in an expansive space like that, I will too. So again, she spread out her identity in realities that we can't see. Some of you don't understand. So in a session, let's just pull her back in to herself. The best way that you can help her is and yourself, by the way, is spatial referencing. So what that means is that you would tell your daughter, it's like, hey, you're sitting on the chair as you eat. So, and again, it sounds simple or maybe idiotic to some of you, but what happens is just like, think of a lemon. What happens to your mouth, right? You start salivating. Same thing here when you, and that's for your, the response for your mouth. But spatial referencing would be, hey, you're in that chair. Oh, you're, a few feet away from the wall. So it allows her to go, oh shit, I'm in this reality. I'm in this reality, because inanimate objects don't move. So all of you, and there's been tons of people who've been off their, say, antidepressants. If you don't listen to anything I say or don't believe anything, that's totally fine. But just practice that. Just practice spatial referencing, and you'll see that you can literally get off your antidepressants and so on like that. It's all about spatial referencing or space and time coordinates. That's why many people, say, are so depressed, or in this case, so far out that other, say, realities just like wash into her. And I would suggest a session for her as well. Right? This is Mini G. Hi, Mas Scammy. What happened? Here you go. Hi, Mas, can you please scan me and please my partner to recover with COVID-19 virus? Thank you. Sure. And again, COVID, is it real? Sure, it's real. But if you're a weak mechanism, right? If you're weak, then it affects you more. It's no more. It is intense. I'm not denying that. It's worse, say, than the flu. But again, if you're a strong individual, you most likely, COVID-19 would, I probably had it, and I'm over it because I traveled in those countries, and then later on they closed down. So, by the way, just working on you as we speak. So it is real. Take care of yourself, but the masks and all that stuff isn't necessary. It's probably a lot worse, by the way, because, and I'll just say my bit on that because a lot of people ask anyway. So, your body took a hell of a long time to excrete or exhale what you were breathing, right? So there's a lot of toxins in your breath. Just like, say, you're urinating or defecating, there's a lot of toxins in what you're releasing. Hence, your body's releasing it, just like an exhaust on a car. It's releasing what it doesn't need. So when you're breathing inside a mask, you're rebreathing all the toxins that your body took energy to exhale. So not the best thing for you. And so basically you're breathing in whatever you defecated and, you urinated out, you're breathing that back in. So those people who are going, it's really scientific, it's really not that science. I mean, that's the real science. Yes, it does stop you from, if you're spitting and as you're talking, yes, it does do that. But the massive effect for most people is a lot more detrimental for you. Not to mention the psychological effect, especially on kids, when kids are forming their facial recognition, young babies and so on, and they're seeing this mask and there's no expression to that mask. That is going to be horrendous in future generations, by the way. Anyway. Getting back to you, yes, but your partner, if it wasn't COVID-19, it'd probably be something else. Because if you look at his or her patterns, seems like a masculine person, but not a strong masculine. But if you look at his patterns, no matter what's out there, he's involved in it, or he'll jump into it, and that way he feels it's kind of like an excuse for him not to go forward in life. As simple as that. And again, I'm not saying he doesn't have COVID-19, but I'm just saying he has that propensity to create havoc, to go, shit, see, we have to work on this because and I can't work on my life, right, because of this happened. So something always comes up that he's not himself, or he can't work on himself, so to speak, to be a better person. So again, that's this pattern. I can help him realize it, help him, say, awaken. But again, the 18-day would be really fantastic for the two of you. And even the human reset coming up in October, which is a total transformation, that'd be really fantastic for you. But just to give you a heads up, it will kick your ass. By the way, your partner, not you necessarily, but your partner. Okay. So be mindful of that when you do it. A lot of people requesting to be in the live video, guys. Maybe in the future we'll do that, but it takes a little bit, a long time to do that. But we will start doing that. Okay, probably next week. This one's on 40_20,01493. Hey, Mas, can you scan me? Help me be my best self. I'm putting the work, trying not to focus on when will things show up and struggling to see who I really am. Sure. So, and that's the problem, because you're trying not to do that, but you're still doing it, right? It's like something's out there. And this is the problem with people. Many individuals, they trip over their own selves because they're always trying not to do something. But when you're always trying not to do something, well, that reference point is already made, right? I'm trying not to get mad. Well, you know, the pattern of, say, being angry is already in there, right? You're just staying away from it. A lot of times it's probably a lot worse, because if you just got angry and got, you know, release it, you'd be over with it. So for you, instead of trying not to focus on things, why don't you focus on whatever that you're seeing yourself? Because at the level that you're at, or that level that you've come into, it's not about pushing away things that aren't working for you. The way XI works is that you start resonating at a different frequency. So you just don't match the frequencies that you're in. Okay, so most people say their poverty mindset, right? They live in poverty, for example, and then they push away poverty by making money, but unfortunately, the poverty is still in them, because they're still in the same, say, bowl of soup, right? They just dress better. For example. So again, same thing with you. You know, you've already created your bowl of soup that you're in. Now you're trying to swim away from the bowl, but you're inside that bowl. So how far can you go? And then you hit the barrier, again, the bowl, and it's like, now what do I do? Right? So what I'm saying is, like, just focus on, say, the soup that you've created, and you'll go, shit, this doesn't fit me anymore. Because you're at a level. You're already at a level that you're higher, but you're pulling yourself down from old patterns. So in this session, quickly realizing, kind of like slapping you up, waking you up from this altered state that you're in. And by the way, we're all in altered states. The bowl that you're in, and go, damn, this doesn't fit me anymore. You know, the relationship that I'm in doesn't fit me anymore. Well, you never let go of relationships, by the way. And that's the thing. You always hold on to things. So it's like you're dragging, oh, that's what it is. So you're dragging all the stuff, all the garbage into the next level. You can't do that. You just can't hold on. So when I'm seeing in you, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. The 3, you've had probably three relationships. Yeah, 3 relationships. You're still connected to the 3 relationships. So logically, when people say see you, right, your relationships see you, they see that you're, say, committed to somebody else, and maybe that's why you might not be in a relationship, or it's hard for you. But if you do, they would never trust you, because you always have, say, the essence or a scent of other people around you. That's the underlying reason, because you never let go of stuff. So this is forcing you to let go of whatever. And that's a lot of stuff. So as confirmation, by the way, you look around your house after this quick session, you look around this house and you'll go, shit, I need to get rid of all this stuff that I've held on to. Okay? Whether it fits you or not, you'll just go, that's not me anymore. And this one, I don't. Hey, Mas, on the 18-day accelerator, can you check? Oh, fantastic. Can you check how I'm doing and work on my wealth and relationship patterns? Thank you. Sure. Really, so what you're doing, and again, you're on the accelerated, so you're breaking apart. It seems like you haven't been with me long, or if you have, it's just like a bigger awareness that's come up, so you feel kind of new to me. The last 2 months, from 2.5 months from what I'm seeing, you know, there's just this realization. It's like, shit, you know, a lot of changes are coming through, and you're an opportunist in a good way. Okay? You don't take advantage of people, but you take advantage of whatever's coming up for you. So it's like you're sensing, and this is one of your abilities, by the way, you're sensing, you're sensing what the fantastic possibilities that are coming up. Although many people go, it's, you know, it's crazy out there, it's havoc out there, and it is. But for many people who are, say, up on top, and that's what the 18 days does for you, puts you up on top. So when the world does right itself, which it will, it always does, what'll happen for you is that you'll pop up, and that's what you're doing. It's like, shit, I got to get ready, and that really a fantastic ability. So you always have, say, future sense, future vision, and so on like that. Later on, I can help you hone that, by the way. And I love working with people because, you know, you get to see, say, the possibilities. Or the potential rather than just fixing you. So in this session, helping you disconnect from what's holding you back. Unlike the last person I read where they just hold on to things, I'll just take this shit with. Which is whoever I read last, copy from, you go, I don't need this stuff, and it's out it goes. So you have, say, minimal detox, or the pain of transformation is, well, minimal, because it's like, shit, I don't need that. And it gets better and better, and you become more and more fluid. Really, really fantastic job. Again, really impressive. So keep doing the 18 days. By the end of the, we're only on day 6. By the end of the 18 days, you'll see how solid you are, right? And really, say, getting it at an initial step. But again, you go, shit, this is how this reality works, and you get to understand the mechanics. You would be a really good candidate for human mastery, because you get the mechanics really quick. So what we're going to do, guys, on Instagram, before we go on to Moss on Sundays, I'm going to shut down, because I don't want you to miss the last part of Instagram. I'm going to close this chat or this live, and then I'll restart. Okay, and then while they're coming back on, we'll start Moss on Sunday. I'll read more people on Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so just give me a second here. Alrighty, so while they're coming back, this one from Amy. Hello, I have a vortex in my heart and cannot hold on to anything. Please help eliminate it. Fantastic. The good thing about it, Amy, is that the good thing about it all is that you're actually starting to realize that you have a vortex in your heart. So in the past, you would have felt that, in the past you would have felt that, shit, why can't I hold on to anything, and then things will start to say dissipate from you or slip through your fingers, and you'd feel that pain relationship after relationship. But now you've pinpointed again what's happening for you, right? What's happening. So basically what's happened is that to pinpoint anything or to solve anything, you'd have to step away from the problem. So you stepped away from the problem. So in this quick session, let's just say heal that vortex. And please comment in, because it's pretty instantaneous for you. Again, because you elevated yourself to a level where we can just eliminate that reality for you. So just, and sometimes that's all what people need. There we go. Although it might have plagued you for, well, your whole life. And you'll see that place, that space fill in. So again, comment in again, if you can, please. There we go. This also releases you from heart issues and all that stuff that your family might have as well. Again, not a doctor, but it happens to people. It'll probably happen to you. There you go. Very nice. All right, guys, we are back. So we're going to go on to Moss on Sundays, and we are going to be talking about self-realization. And what we're going to be talking about is one, is the secret ingredient of self-realization. Okay, what most people think when they think of self-realization is that it's okay. So here's the issues with self-realization, and the biggest mistakes. So I'll just blend it all into one. So self-realization, most people have the concept of when I get old, when I get settled, when I get successful, after I have my kids, I'm going to go out and self-realize. Okay? So that's the number one biggest issue with self-realization. Self-realization is not like, okay, I'm good, I'm comfortable, I'm ready, and then now I'm going to go find myself. Okay, that's not the reason why self-realization, or what self-realization is really about. It literally is the total opposite. Okay, and this is where, say, parenting growing up as a child gets messed up. Okay? So self-realization is doesn't happen towards the end of your life. Okay, many people do that, and I'll explain why people do that. It's actually supposed to happen in the beginning of your life, even before you're born. Okay, so the steps, it goes through the cycle here. So the steps that happen, for example, is that when, we'll go way back quickly. When you die, you have to be awakened to a certain level to understand that these experiences that you've had in life were experiences in life. It wasn't you. Right? Most people die unrealized, so they cross over. That memory, not say the essence of that person, okay? That memory, that consciousness, then still exists because now it's permanent. So you die unawakened. Okay, so and again, think of a bowl of soup again. I guess soup is, we'll probably have soup tonight, seems like. Anyway, so so think of a bowl of soup. Okay, so there are some ingredients in the bowl of soup that you added for your life that wasn't, say, tasty. Right? So before you die, you're supposed to pull those ingredients out. Okay? Unfortunately, we don't. Right? And then when you die, that soup, okay, or that consciousness of your family still resonates with the unsavory ingredients. The living live off that soup. Okay, so again, it's not about dead people haunting you and all that stuff, although that can happen, or a process, but that's how it happens. But that consciousness, that bowl of soup, still exists in you, okay? Or that programming, you didn't delete the viruses. If you're a computer programmer, you didn't delete the viruses that you should have deleted off your programming as you, say, ascended or left this consciousness. So what happens is that when somebody has a baby, they are part of that soup now, right? They are made of that soup, and then they add on their own stuff. And again, the cycle goes on and on. So self-realization starts, again, through a death process. Okay, that's when the beginning of self-realization actually occurs. If you've looked at people who are awakened to a level, they start to see the bigger picture of who they are. This is where people who have massive wealth, they start going, shit, that wealth or whatever I sacrificed wasn't worth it. Again, it's not about the wealth. It's not about the money. So those people who are poor go, see, I'm on the right track. You're not on the right track. Okay, you're both at the same level of distortion. So the key is that you want to be self-realized and then make the money. So as those people die off, that soup never gets cleaned out or never removed with the unsavory frequencies. That kid now that is born are again in that soup. So and that's your second chance to awaken your family. Okay, so with improper parents, though, and again, I'm not dissing any parents or anything. You do the best that you can, but again, most parents say aren't the most awakened. It's a fact. Right? What happens is that that bowl of soup, and that's why kids ask a lot of questions, right? It's like, why is this happening? Because they see how that's the soup of life is supposed to taste like. Right? And it's very, very savory, by the way. And they see what they're eating. And basically it's like, Mom, Dad, why are we eating this soup when we're supposed to have this soup? And basically the parents go, shut up. This is the soup I had. You're going to have it too. Or like, honey, I don't know how to make it any better. I'm not the life cook. So this is what you're going to have. And then over time, well, those kids go, shit, I guess I like the soup, because they've eaten it so long. So self-realization again starts to, or is supposed to start to happen in utero, in your mom's belly, if it didn't happen in death. So just imagine if you were, say, self-realized. And self-realization is not about money. It's not about being whatever it is, comfortable in life and all that. It's about becoming aware of your reality and how you render it. Does that make you comfortable? Does that make you joyous? Yes, it does. but those are offshoots. Okay, that's not the goal that you're looking for. The goal that you're looking for, and this is another aspect or misnomer about self-realization, is that I'm going to practice being content or joyful, right? And that's going to provide me that state. That's bullshit. It literally is, because those people who do that, basically they've created a workaround, because that soup still sucks. But when they wake up, and I'll talk about that, so just give me a second. But as a child, so I'll just go back. So, by the way, my mind works in spatial referencing, okay, not linear referencing. And most of you, well, all of you should start to, especially if you start doing XI, you'll start to reclaim your original self of spatial referencing, which you can work on multiple patterns or things at the same time. And that's the way I teach, by the way. And the reason why is because it allows you to think, percolate, and then you'll come up with a higher level consciousness. Okay? And that's where your awakening happens. Linear teaching basically is like you close one step, you go to the next. If you've closed something, your mind doesn't keep working on it. Right? And then you go to the next, and close, you go to the next. So some of you might get confused as I talk, which is good for you, because again, your mind on the back end is working on it. So as a young child, throughout your formative years, 0 to 7, you're in a liquid state. Again, a perfect time to self-realize. This is where you should teach your kids, if you're parents, to go out on their own, understand realities, understand how they create themselves. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but again, being in nature, doing a lot of things with their hands, listening to music, putting puzzles together. Again, it creates the mathematical, say, propensity, or the physics propensity for them to understand their consciousness around you. That's what self-realization is about, right? And then you have a strong, stable child, which is automatically happy and joyful. And then through 7 to 14, again, it gels up, and then 14 to 18, this is what I want to talk about. Puberty to 18, 20. This is where that child starts to realize, it's like, shit, I'm not self-realized. I'm turning into, say, my parents. I'm starting to like that bowl of soup, which I didn't like. And you start to pull away. Unfortunately, you've really solidified. It's a little too late for you to pull away. And that's why many people try to escape their teenage years, right? They try to escape, and then, by the time they hit 23, 24, 25, what happened? They go back, and they start the patterns of their parents. So, and again, that's not self-realization. So what happens is that, say you become successful, or say you become, happily married, and you really can't be really happy at any of those endeavors if you're not self-realized, because it's not you that's running, it's your parents' patterns and their parents and so on. So what happens is, as you age, you become really, really successful. And this is the problem with, people who are, philanthropists and things of, those people of that nature, is that, it's like they become successful, and they start to realize that, that success is well, there's two ways they can go. That success is not, say, creating that self-realization that they're looking for, right? So what do? They hit the books, they become religious, they become philanthropists, they become whatever to do good, to help people. Unfortunately, and I'm not knocking down any of those. Those are fantastic, to help people and so on. But when you're helping people in that respect, it doesn't really work out for you, because what you're doing, or the purpose of why you're doing it, is for you to help yourself to self-realize. Fortunately, that's not the way to self-realize. Right? That's just trying to be a good person, because in society's belief, you help people to self-realize. So some people do it right. They go out and like remove themselves of the world, right? And again, that's not self-realization, although it helps a little bit. And they introspect, they go deep inside, and then they come to terms, and that's where the pitfalls are. They come to terms on what's happened in their life, and they force themselves, or they force themselves, or they come to terms, or they become okay with where they are. So again, is that self-realization? No, it's just being happy with where they are. Again, that's not self-realization. And no offense, even like Buddhists and people at those levels, what they try to do, again, they void themselves of the physicalness of the reality, and that's the issue. Again, I'm not knocking any religion or mindset down, but again, that's an issue I have with people like that. They'll go out into the mountains, and yeah, it's beautiful out there, but basically you're human, you integrate. And I've seen Buddhists, they say that they're self-realized, but they did, I was with a group of high-level Buddhists, I guess, in Florida with the jade Buddha. It's a huge piece of jade, one piece of jade that they've turned into, a statue of Buddha. And they were fucked up in real life. Their alm state, their bliss state, they couldn't handle society. So if you can't handle physical realm spaces here and break apart, if you can't handle that, when you go to higher consciousness, you're gonna be fucked up. Especially if you think you're, a solid person here. So, and again, no offense, I've just seen it before, okay? And that's why the 18 days or Xponential Intelligence, it really is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it's the best way to help you realize in a truer fashion. So those are the pitfalls, or those are the mistakes that people make on defining what self-realization is. Okay? The pitfalls I talked about briefly is that where people go, well, I'm going to self-realize by, and what I'll do is, again, help people, okay? Or again, escape. So there are many pitfalls to that. Again, I mentioned a few of them. The other bigger pitfall, or the other mechanic of it, is that, which is a bigger problem, is that you create a void. Okay? You are of a human identity. You've rendered yourself as a frequency of being human, okay, in this reality. But then you're voiding yourself. You're separating yourself of that, say, experience of being human by, say, putting yourself alone. Okay. So those individuals who self-realize at their later years, basically they spend the rest of their life alone, okay? Or their spouses usually died or passed away, and again, it forces them to be alone. So that type of loneliness is not what a Jesus, a Buddha, and those individuals did. Okay. They weren't alone. They weren't lonely. They were alone for a bit, but if you've seen, they came back into society, right? And integrated into society. And then that's where their light, say, shine. That's what it's about. So again, like I said, people go do philanthropy. They go alone and then they'll come back and do philanthropy. That's not, again, it doesn't self-realize you. It doesn't help the people around. And by the way, I talk about, I did a, and I'll post it on Instagram, Tony Robbins, great guy. Great concepts and so on, but he was talking about, he's just there's a video and he's going, just fucking give, and then everything will come back to you, right? That's not a proper way to give. It's not the proper way to self-realize. Okay. Again, so there's a lot of errors in his concepts, and again, I'm not criticizing him, but I'm just giving you the steps on where the errors are so we can do better. When you're giving something, again, people give to self-realize. That's another void that gets created, okay, for not only you, but then consciousness, and then the people that you're giving. So when you're giving in that respect to, say, get, okay, so in self-realization, Tony's talking about, just give money, give help, give whatever, which is fantastic. But again, there's a better way of doing it. What most people do when self-realizes, they'll give of themselves to get back. So it's the same principle at, say, higher consciousness. What that happens is, one, your giving, your purpose of giving is selfish. Okay? And I know it sounds weird, but it's selfish because your deeper lying reason on why you want to give is for you to help, to be self-realizing. Okay? Should there be a benefit for you? Yes, but your first benefit should not be because of what you're doing. Right? Your first benefit of self-realization or giving should be about, oh, that person really needs help. and then you self-give, and then you give. But people give in a wrong way as well, because it's like they give their essence. Okay, what you're supposed to give, especially if you're self-realized, is the essence or the light that you are. Okay, because that is rechargeable. Okay? And you're not giving it. You're, say, for example, a light bulb, whether it's one person in the room or 100 people in the room, that light bulb doesn't dissipate itself. Okay? That's the way you're supposed to give. If you're going to be self-realizing, that's the way you're supposed to help self-realize other people. When you help other people to self-realize, when you're giving your light, so to speak, right? The luminosity of who you are, it allows them to awaken. Which, so think of it this way, you're this level, your light brings this person up to this level, okay? So, or less, it doesn't matter, but I'm just giving you an example. Your light basically gives that potentiality of that person to come up to this level, okay? What happens is that that person and many more people, the more you say self-realize in this respect, the more people creates a strong foundation which allows you to self-realize to a higher level. So self-realization through the process of giving should be in that respect. So and that's the more you give, the more you get. But again, people do it at a physical level. I'll give more money and then I'll get back. It's totally wrong. You don't self-realize, you actually put yourself in a home. So again, the reason why most people self-realize as they age, right, is because their money, their life situation, relationships, their connection to not to God, although they will think it's like, I need a God connection there, right? And again, that's wrong. Or as many people say, self-realize because it's like, fuck, what if heaven is true or hell is true? I don't want to fucking go there. So what do? Right? I better self-realize, and then so I can be better off. Again, those aren't the proper motives for self-realization. It just doesn't work. It might help you understand a lot of things, but it doesn't really work. Just to give you an example, look at Wayne Dyer. Again, great guy. He unearthed millions of tidbits of information that have helped millions of people around around the world. So I'm not knocking him down, but in his death, he still had addiction issues. He still had abuse issues, at a personal level. Why is that? Right? A lot of people, again, self-realize in that respect. So if you look at Wayne Dyer, right, and look at his, say, personal life, it didn't really help him. So he was always scavenging for something to help him out of that space. That's not self-realization. Again, although his content is really fantastic, a lot of great nuggets, you can learn from it, but you don't want to fall into that trap. Okay? So the remainder of the time that we have, I'll show you what self-realization is about. So let's go ahead and get comfortable, get situated. And again, if you want to stand up, it's fantastic for you. I stand up all day, so and setup is not situated. But if you want to stand up, it actually activates your higher level consciousness versus sitting or lying down. It moves you away from your reptilian, your mammalian brain, and then into a more level of consciousness, and that's what Human Reset is about in October coming up, pushing you away from. It's called Human Reset, altering carbon. It's pulling you away from, let's say, the carbon-based or reptilian brain-based identities that we have, right, into a higher level consciousness. Because that's what you're starting to realize at a deeper level is, it's like, shit, we're reptilian, or we're mammalian, we're like animals here. We're probably worse off. But that's another subject. And then what self-realization is like, I need to separate from, say, the lower levels of identity. Right? And again, the mistake is that we do it through being a good person. It's not about that. I'm not saying you shouldn't be a good person, by the way. Okay? But to be a good person, to self-realize, is selfish. Right? To do good deeds, to again benefit yourself, is selfish. So let's take a deep breath in. And I know it's fucking a lot of you up. It's like, damn, what the hell is he saying? My whole religion, whole society is on giving and helping, and now he's saying it's wrong. It's not what It's not what you're doing, it's why and how you're doing it. So let's take a deep breath in. Begin noticing where you are. I'll help you self-realize what self-realization is about, and then what giving the proper way is about, what awakening is about. And we'll make it really quick because they're a good group. Take a deep breath in and notice your surroundings. Again, spatial referencing. Okay, so notice whether your eyes are open or closed. Be aware of what's behind you compared to where you are, where you're sitting, where your back is. Right? Compared to, say, what's behind you, the tip of your nose. And it doesn't matter body parts. What's in front of you, the chair, table, window, whatever, compared to where you are. Your rib cage. Notice any sounds, sights, smells, taste in your mouth. That's all pulling you into one state of, say, consciousness or reality. I'll talk a little louder, a little further away. As we take a deep breath in again, connecting you to a higher order of who you are, the mastermind group. And then asking yourselves as we settle in, how do I connect to my limitless self even more? And self-realization is a state of being. It's not a state of action. So as we take a deep breath in again, we're going to go silent. We're going to go into a deep dive. And I'll get you into those states. So it's not going to be hypnosis, psychology, or imagination, or visualization. It's just, I'll take you into a space of being a self-realized individual. No matter where you are. All you would have to do is focus in on your spine, and then what's in front of your spine. Right? Just imagine a column that's in front of your spine. Or your spine, it doesn't matter. Strong deep breath in again. Self-realization for many is content, being content with where you are. But notice that you're content with where you are, no matter where you are outside of yourself. Your bank account is the same, your health is the same, your relationships are the same, but why are you so content? And hold on to this. So let's take a deep breath in, we'll go deeper. Many of you are just craving space. So we'll go silent for a little bit longer. Breathe in. Exhale on your own command. Again, I'll say it again. Sorry about that. So breathe in. Exhale on your own command. And notice that, say, peace, that content that you have. And again, where you are now hasn't changed. Well, you have changed. But again, your bank account, your relationships, your health issues, your problems still exist, but why are you so content? Imagine if you were this content as a child. And then your experiences that you've had growing up, if you were this self-realized, and probably even more, a lot more, because again, you bring back a lot of garbage and I had to shuffle through to get you to this state. But if you were at this level as a child, imagine how much more self-realized you would be by the time you get to your age. By the time all those patterns haven't been solidified in you, that you have to, say, crack off, crust off, break away as you age. Again, self-realization is the process, happens as childhood, not as you age. As you age, you've realized it's too late. You don't get as self-realized. But the point is that if you were self-realized as a child, you'll go, and let's just do this. Let's take a deep breath in, just to help you out at a deeper level. Take a deep breath in. I analyze a lot of tears coming out of many of you. So you're in a safe place, just let it out. Those tears, if you notice, they're tears of joy. It's like you found yourself. You found that connection between your physical form and your, if you want to call it your spirit, I call it your, timeless self, your pure presence. You found each other. And that's where the tears come through. That's what self-realization is about. Finding that connection between who you really are, your timeless self, and who you think you are. So let's go back till whenever you want, 0 to 7. Imagine yourself being in a self-realized state. And we'll just clean out those patterns for you. Now, you can't go back and delete what's happened. You can go back and change what you've taken away from the experience of what's happened. And that's what we'll do here. Just take a deep breath in again. 7 to 14. Again, a self-realized being, gelling into staying in that space. Self-realization actually is a tool for you to maneuver this reality. Most people think it's a state of bliss, or basically what happens is people think, I need to come to terms or add up the numbers so I can be happy. It's what you're doing. You're just covering shit up. Self-realization, again, is a tool. Most people want it to be a state of being. That's an after effect of using the tool properly. Again, most people use it improperly by just covering it up, all the garbage that still exists in them. So from 14 to 20, just imagine if you were in a self-realized state as you went through whatever that you went through. By the way, if you cleaned up this stuff, your kids wouldn't have to go through the garbage that you went through. It's another reason why you want to self-realize when you're a kid, if your parents were awakened. Fortunately, it's not the way, so we have to do it now. But 14 to 18, 14 to 20, 22 for some of you progress slower. Imagine your life. Would you be in situations right now or back then that you're trying to resolve now? So from 22 to, let's say, your current age, look at all the things that you've done. For politicians, leaders, heads of technology, if they were self-realized, would they create the system that is blundering itself right now? Not so successful leaders. But what about you at an individual level? What have you done to aid in that blunder? Would you have done that if you were self-realized? Look at society. What would it be a different society? Would we be all wearing masks right now in a self-realized society? Probably not. Most definitely not. But that's how we change society. You awaken into a self-realization now, no matter what age you are that you're listening to this, but you're getting into this space. Imagine what the rest of your life will be. Not the end of your life, but the rest of your life. Imagine what your loved ones, your children, and anybody else that you touch, your clients, your patients, your whoever around you, the strangers that you pass by. a self-realized being walking down the street, what would that look like? Could you imagine you seeing a self-realized being walking down the street? You have no idea who they are, but you can pick up that frequency. That's not what they're wearing. It's not the Gucci shoes and all that stuff that people get worried about to show that they're self-realized. But again, imagine walking down the street. You see this person. Why are they burning? Why are they intriguing you? Why are you magnetized to them? Again, at first glance, you might think it's their clothing, but it's a deeper frequency, right? So imagine if everybody was at that level, and you would go, well, and wash out. No, if everybody was at a realized level, their potentiality is way above whatever you're thinking of self-realization, that we can play with, not fix this reality, but play in this reality. So as we take a deep breath in, notice how you're feeling in this space. This is where you want to be. So notice how you're feeling. We'll anchor it on. Imagine a word or an image. And then imagine, say, the connection or that solidness that you have. Imagine the word or image. Let's use an anchor. Again, imagine your state of being. Imagine the word or the image, anchor, state of being. And keep doing that. Full NLP. So whenever you flash that anchor, you'll get into this state. Keep doing it as many times as you can. You'll start to see your life change from the inside out. You'll start to realize, so the experiences that you have, the money that you make, the money that you don't make, all focus in to help you self-realize even more so you can expand. So it's kind of like a vortex, or I forgot what they call it in physics, but that the experiences that you have come in, and then it allows you to expand out. And then experiences that you have, I forgot what they call that, but that's what that's about. At a deep level, it's very simple. It's all about you finding yourself in perfect precision in space and time. It's not about mindfulness at present moment. Those are just, fads that people use. This is about creating your identity solid enough to know exactly where you are, to allow you to understand how you've rendered yourself here as human. This is where, say, the definition of human starts to come into play. This is where you operate out of being human, because if you look at society and the atrocities that humans think that they do, you would see that it's not human. It's even lower than animal. So that's what self-realization is about. So as we take a deep breath in, and as we end, it took a little longer, that's okay. Notice what you notice, and then notice the details of what you notice. Again, a lot of good stuff coming up, guys. Next week, we'll be putting up what we'll be talking about on Mas on Sundays. All right. So you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, especially. Right? So subscribe to YouTube, please, because we'll be putting more content on the deep science on how stuff really, really works. Okay. All right, guys. Again, notice what you notice. Notice the details. Peace.